At least 11 people are dead after a shooting at Sydney, Australia's Bondi Beach today. Australian officials said the attack targeted the Jewish community at an event celebrating the first day of the holiday of Hanukkah.
An attack on Jewish Australians is an attack on every Australian. And every Australian tonight will be, like me, devastated on this attack on our way of life. There is no place for this hate, violence and terrorism in our nation.
What should have been a night of peace and joy celebrated in that community with families and supporters has been shattered by this horrifying, evil attack.
I was holding somebody's child because he was screaming, I was saving this child.
According to police, one of the suspected gunmen is believed to be dead, the other in critical condition in hospital. Police say at least 29 others were injured, 2 of whom are believed to be police officers and another is believed to be a child. Improvised explosive devices were found in a car linked to one of the gunmen and are being removed from the scene. Israeli President Isaac Herzog sent his condolences while calling on the Australian government to fight anti-Semitism.
As we pray for the recovery of the wounded, we pray for them and we pray for those who've lost their lives. We send our warmest strength from here, from Jerusalem, and we repeat our alert time and again to the Australian government to seek action and fight against the enormous wave of anti-Semitism which is plaguing Australian society.
Australian officials have deemed this a terrorist attack. We will continue to update you as we learn more. With me now to discuss is Jeanne Meserve, CTV News international security expert. Good morning. Good to see you today.
Thank you.
So talk to us about what we're seeing so far in this investigation here. We know one attacker is believed to be dead and the other is in hospital. Has the threat been thwarted?
There are reports that there could be a third suspect, and the search is underway to see if they might be able to apprehend somebody else. Anti-Semitism has been a huge problem globally and a growing problem. Australia has seen it particularly. One report that was issued earlier this month said there has been a 5-fold increase in the number of incidents of anti-Semitism in that country, of such concern that the Prime Minister had appointed a special envoy to address anti-Semitism. But nobody could have predicted that this would have happened on Bondi Beach, one of the big tourist attractions in Australia, where a Hanukkah by the sea celebration was taking place when this occurred. The casualty number might have been higher were it not for the heroic performance of a bystander. There is video of an individual who approaches someone with a long gun and tackles them and brings them down and wrests that gun away from them. And that person clearly was intent on even more mayhem on that beach yesterday.
Really devastating scenes there. Do you think we are likely to hear that the attackers are connected to a larger group, or could this be a lone wolf attack?
No way to predict at this point in time. That's certainly part of the investigation. They'll be looking at the backgrounds of these individuals. They'll be looking at their social media histories. They'll be looking at their other communications online to figure out if they might have been in communication with a larger group, either within Australia or externally. Another thing, by the way, that makes this quite remarkable and horrifying is that Australia has some of the strictest gun laws in the world. There was a mass shooting back in, I think it's 1996, where 35 people were killed. And as a result of that, Australia really tightened up on gun ownership rules. They made registration of guns more difficult, and there was a hugely successful gun buyback program. But clearly it didn't prevent these individuals from obtaining the weaponry they needed to conduct this horrendous attack.
So could this be a sign that gun laws in Australia need to be even tighter?
That is a difficult question for me to answer, not being Australian. They, as I mentioned, already have the tightest gun laws in the world. Maybe what this requires is stricter enforcement of those gun laws. We'll see as the investigation goes forward.
So what are we likely to see in terms of, first of all, the investigation and also security forces across the country in the coming hours and days following this attack?
I am sure that they have heightened protection around synagogues, schools, businesses perhaps, in order to telegraph to individuals that law enforcement is watching for this. We are trying to prevent this. We will try and stop this. That certainly is something that would be going on, perhaps not just in Australia, but in other places around the world where there's been a surge of anti-Semitism after the October 7th attacks. In terms of investigation, as I mentioned, they'll be digging deep into these individuals and then whatever networks they might have been part of to try and to determine if there could be a follow-on attack, copycat attacks, anything of that sort.
So speaking of anti-Semitism, we know, as you said, it's on the rise around the globe. Are there any signs that anything could have been done in Australia to prevent this type of attack?
I think until we know more about these individuals, their motivations, and their capabilities, I think that's an impossible question to answer. There certainly have been questions globally about the impact of social media, where anti-Semitism has been normalized largely. In Australia specifically, there's been talk about asking social media companies to be more transparent about the algorithms that are used that may fuel this kind of hate. That kind of thing is probably going to be put under the microscope.
Okay, lots of open questions here that we hope will be answered in the coming days. Thank you so much for your time. It's Jeanne Meserve, CTV News international security expert.